Yeah, this scenery is amazing, particularly at dawn.
Good choice, Emmanuel.
I must say it was almost by chance. I don't remember how much I chance. I was looking either basically very early in the morning or in the evening to get some translate. I just started. I was not sure about the starting point initially. I was planning to go from Northern because it's a bit too long. And just by chance, I started the flight observation at that time, and it was just perfect. I just checked by putting the right date. This is really cool. The software just to adjust on the day of today, just to see if it was still there. It's pretty nice. With the moon especially, it's one night. It's nice. So we're not going to follow the complete lake. You can see it's quite a major one. It's nice by plane, but even by car, driving around the mountains and the mountains. Just to warn you, the first airfield is it's not, there is no light, so it can be a bit difficult to spot. Just to touch it.
Colobacter. That's a bit high. Well, there's loads of that on transmitter.
Chasing him, Pat.
I am.
Let's shoot him down, will you?
No. He's going to burn out, I think. That's what his throttle full open.
There is a big discussion in Switzerland because they had the first decision to buy F-35, but there is a law in Switzerland if 700,000 people raise a request or sign a request, basically the law is supposed to be revoted and everyone has to vote against it or for it. So one of my cousins is going to live in Switzerland for a few years. And basically they vote every weekend just for this kind of...
Yeah, it's similar here. It's called a petition. So if they get 100,000 petitions, 100,000 signatures, I think it has to go to Parliament, isn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah, but it only has to be debated in Parliament. It doesn't become law automatically.
In Switzerland, if they get 100,000, it has to come in front of the public. We will vote on it. And no, we don't vote every weekend, but like 4 or 5 times a year. It's good to participate in these topics.
But what's the end result? If you vote one way or the other, do they listen to your vote?
Yeah, they have to. It's a law.
Oh, okay.
We create laws, or actually, you can change the constitution with that. If I wanna bring something in the constitution, has something changed, I need again 100 for a law it's 50,000, for constitution it's 100,000 votes, and then we can change. I can change the constitution if I think it.
Cool.
Not always, trust me.
No.
We have very stupid stuff in our constitution.
So I want to make alcohol and petrol free. Do you think I'll get 100,000 votes for that?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'll drink to that.
No, we tried. We had a vote to get 6 weeks of holidays mandatory in Switzerland instead of the 4 we have currently, and the Swiss people did vote no for that.
Really?
Yep.
What did they say? Yeah, you can have your 6 weeks, but it's unpaid.
No, we had the idea of the law was to get 6 weeks paid as a minimum. Currently, we have 4 weeks paid as a minimum, and the Swiss people said no, so we still have 4. So yeah, voting on everything, not always the best idea.
Oh, Lee, you've wandered off course.
I'm just about to go live to show you what I'm seeing.
Oh, I can see what you're seeing. Stunning.
So what is it?
What can you see?
It's disappeared now. I think there's a glitch in the scenery. Like 2 tall peaks.
Pylons.
I can't see that.
Yeah, no, they've gone there. It was almost like like the Twin Towers. Yeah, it must be a glitch. They've gone now. A reflection of the moon on the lake.
You got 5 o'clock. Oh, you're surrounded by spitfires.
So my 2 you're living in Switzerland? Yes, I'm from Switzerland. Which part? Berner Oberland and Zurich. So yeah, when we departed, we flew almost over my house, or my flat. Sorry for the noise. I can live with it. So now we're above the Zuckersee, which is another lake, and to go slightly on the left.
What does Zucker say in Germany? Sugar.
No, it's a Zucker. So I don't know if it's a See in lake and Zucker is German. Zug is the name of the city on top of the See. It's Z-U-G, and actually it is a word in German. It means train at Zug, but it has nothing to do with trains. It's just the name of the city Zug, and Zucker is just it's the See, the lake of Zug.
Okay, like Züricher See is the lake of Zurich.
Yeah.
All going to bed like stupid. That's good.
You learn everything, something every week.
Drink to that.
I'll drink to that.
Zug has its own county in Switzerland.
Yes. That's the one where all the big companies have like a post box because the taxes are very low for companies there.
Yeah, the tax level can be different between the different countries.
Yeah. Actually, it's even for people. It's even different between villages and cities.
There's a beautiful sunrise just coming over the tops of the mountain.
L'avion, c'est un Pilatus PC6.
Not with a man-made country. Almost.
On voit en Suisse.
Right, William 35, I think. We've got floats on this trotter.
So I have snow in my scenery here. I'm sure it's very accurate.
Yeah, I have snow.
Unfortunately, it's really not accurate at the moment. We didn't have, at least where I'm right now, we didn't have precipitation since the 24th of February. We should have a lot of snow, or still quite some snow currently, but there is almost no.
Up through Switzerland basically 1 month ago from Austria. And it's already not a lot of snow. I mean in the valley.
Yeah, it wasn't a good winter for us, unfortunately. Actually, whole Europe didn't really get that much snow.
Great scenery.
So we reach one of the other waypoint here, which is it's the best name for a city in Switzerland. The name of the city is Schwyz.
We come back.
So there's the city of Schwyz, and there's the canton of Schwyz, and then obviously there's the nation called Schwyz.
Yeah, Schwyz is also a country. I tried to figure out on the cars when I was driving back, trying to find the meaning of the two letters.
These hillsides look amazing though.
And contrary what the flight simulator makes you to believe, that lake that we're going to fly over now is never frozen. That's quite a big lake and that never freezes.
Yeah, you can switch to a few clouds instead of like weather, and then you get rid of the snow. It's definitely better. And so this lake is called the Lake of the Four Counties because it is just bridging four different counties.
In German, Vierwaldstätter See.
So in this part of Switzerland, you are still in the German-speaking Schweizerdeutsch, German-speaking area.
Yes.
Didn't realise there was an Italian speaking Switzerland.
Yes, and
German and French.
there's the Italian, and then there is a weird language that is only spoken in a small part called Rätoromansch.
It's a kind of derivative of French, but it's
It's more from Latin. I would say it's even closer to Italian.
yeah. Ah, yes, you're sorry, yeah, not the other one. You're right. I was mixing the other.
My other half started to learn Latin at college, but the course eventually ended. The teacher tried to explain to them that if you go to Italy and if you're fluent in Latin, you can see the connection between the languages, where I guess Italians are just modern day Latin speakers, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. My mother was a Latin teacher, and you can find roots for many names. But yeah, compared to Italian, it's not the same. But you know, it's where it was. So you can see an airfield. There is an airfield on the left of the lake. We will not go to the small pass on the right. Go directly to the city of Lucerne.
The airfield straight ahead of us, that's actually the airfield of the Pilatus Flugzeugwerke, the guys who built the PC-6 and the PC-21 and all these airplanes.
Okay, because I didn't check in detail why there was so many airfield in this area. We have one every 5 to 10 kilometers. It's crazy. This one is the one for Pilatus then.
Yeah, the one, if you look at the back right to the mountain, these are the Pilatuswerke. These are where they build all these airplanes.
To check for job position at Pilatus.
And the reason why we have so many airfields has to do with our now defunct defense strategy we had from Second World War on. It's called the Red Week strategy. The idea was that if we get attacked, we have a lot of bunkers and defensive stuff around the big mountains, and we would go back there, or at least the army would go back there, probably not the civilians, because who cares about civilians, and would defend from there. And so they built so-called Redwitflugplätze, lots of small military airports, for the old back then modern jet fighters and stuff like that. So from where I grew up, where I'm now, I have about 5 or 6 old, sometimes defunct and sometimes still active, for civilian use, for GIUs, airfields around me, within maybe 10 kilometers or so.
Where are the Swiss Navy based?
It's in Genova.
We have, military navy, we have, I think, 3 patrol craft, small, something like marine crafts, on Bodensee, and some on, and another 2 or so on Lake Geneva. And then we have, actually Switzerland has a big, quite a big merchant army, merchant navy, like trade ships they're owned by Switzerland. And they're obviously all over the world.
Do you have to do military service every year? And do you have your gun at home like many Swiss men do?
I was exempt because I have 2 strong glasses. I don't see well enough. But my brother had to do that, and lots of my friends. And yes, I own a gun because I do sports shooting.
Boom, boom.
Luckily with the glasses it works quite well, but the problem is for the gas mask, they have to make correct lenses for you, and that only works up to a certain correction, otherwise they get too big, the lenses.
Seems like you've been doing too much
Just one info for the waypoint, which is in Lucerne. Just try to be exactly on the waypoint. It was of the famous monument in the city, which is called the Kapellsbrücke. It's a small bridge with a small chapel at the entry of the river. So it's modeled quite well. You will not see it. It's a small tower and a bridge.
I'm just going right over it now.
Cool. Yeah, me too.
Tell you
All
what, the Swiss have done something that the British or English have never done, and that's won the America's Cup.
We don't want to win it. It seems like.
I don't think we ever will.
Always seem to have inferior boats, don't we?
So we just do touch and go also at the Lucerne airport, which is quite bad.
I guess it's lack of sponsorship, isn't it?
I watched some of the America's Cup a couple of years ago, and I don't think that's really sailing anymore, is it?
No, not with those. I don't even call them boats. I don't know what they call them.
That's the airfoils, isn't it?
They're flying wing.
Back when the Swiss one, that was still with real boats.
When I was in college, my school had a wind tunnel that they mostly used it for the America's Cup boats, for the keels.
Oh, cool. Just as an information about the Emmen airfield, that's actually a military airfield. That's one of the few left active military airfields in Switzerland.
It's time to say again hello to the sun.
That's weird, isn't it? That bridge with the cap on it. Why would they do that?
Why not?
Yeah. Because they can. The tubular is weird. Why do they make it extra? I know that was 3 million.
The traffic pattern here looks quite full, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, I've just undertaken something.
Just watched about 30 aircraft come in nose to tail down the runway. It's quite impressive.
And one going the wrong way. That's me.
There's always one.
Yeah, there's two.
Dave, behave yourself.
I'm sightseeing.
Oh wow, the sun's coming up and it's shooting right across the lake. Superb.
Means we are good for the timing.
I'm right behind you, Manuel.
Yeah, we'll just circle around the small city at the end of the lake.
Push left. B-38.
Howdy.
Yeah. I bought that and I've flown it twice. Keep forgetting I've got it.
I got so many that I've bought now I can't keep track. And they're all favorites.
Well, that's the reason you buy it, right?
Right, yeah, that's a good thing, I guess.
I had a look at the Grumman Goose the other evening. It looks
Oh,
very good, the new version.
I'm afraid
Yeah,
to
it's
look.
very nice.
I'm afraid I'm going to plop down the money.
I used to love that in was it FSX? Or even before FS9.
There was already a freeware version on Flight Sim.
Yeah,
and
it's
it was pretty
the same
nice
thing.
even with the engine, but the new one, I just look at the video, it really looks great. It's quite a versatile aircraft.
Yeah, so it's the same team. They basically rebuilt it from scratch for Flight Sim.
So let's go down the lake.
Ah, this is amazing.
So that place is pretty well because you will see that we have our first airfield on which we will not land when we take the second one. So we have the one from Pilatus just on the left beside the hills. We have the one just near Lucerne, and because it's not enough in terms of airfield, the name of the city and the small pass between the limit of the lake will go over. The name of the city is Stanstadt, which is quite close to Stansted basically. So maybe they have some passion over here for airport. I don't know.
I hate Stansted.
But that's because you probably work there.
No, I didn't. I did work there once. I did a night shift there, converting 707 from passenger config to horse config. As it happens, it was the night the clock went forward, and I had to go and do an early shift. So I spent the night doing this and forgot about the clocks going forward. The guys that were meant to meet us there were an hour late. And that's when I found out that my Fiat Uno could do 100 miles an hour in M25. Coming back. And it took me 3 months to get paid for that job.
Yeah, so my daughter was playing in a rugby tournament today. On our way to the tournament, she was checking messages on social media for the rest of her team. And in the UK, anybody that didn't know, our clocks went forward this morning. So there was a succession of messages from various families saying we're going to be an hour late.
Outrageous. There's no excuse.
Oh, there isn't now, is there? Because your iPhone does it on its own. Computer does it on its own. Most things do it on my car. It doesn't. I thought it did. I'm sure my old car did it on its own.
So Stansted is just the city at the junction between the two lakes. There is just a small river pass between the two.
I'm going to go and look at Gouache. Because I used to fly into Gouache on the thick. It was 2002, 2004. And it was built in a basin. That's all.
So we are not stopping at the first airport you will see, just at the end of the lake. There is a first runway here. There is a second one just after. We will touch and go at the second one.
It's disappointing. Oh, I just got a flash of light off the lake. That's staggering. What's the noise? It sounds like a cow.
That noise, Pat.
No, nothing like that. It sounds like a cow.
Are you in the Twin Otter?
No, I mean it's fine.
What does the cow sound like?
Moo.
Oh, so predictable.
Sounds remarkably like the flaps on a Twin Otter. I know what the other person was saying.
It is flap sound.
Okay, so touch and go for this one. The runway is a bit shorter.
I wonder why there would be two runways so close together.
But if you miss the first one?
No, that's exactly the reason I was telling you about these Redwood airports. They made them everywhere, and it was in case one got bombed. They all used to be military airports at one time. We have here one, right where I live in Berner Oberland, we have Reichenbach, and there used to be one in Frutigen. And when you do the pattern over Reichenbach, you actually fly over the runway of Frutigen. So they're maybe 1 to 2 kilometers apart.
Well, that makes the $100 hamburger only $50.
Unfortunately, there is no restaurant, I think, at either of one where you get the hamburger.
And in the next valley, when we will do the stop, one of the two runways is not referenced in MSFS. You have it in the nav map, but not in MSFS as a native airfield.
My flight sim has just crashed a desktop.
Oh no.
Don't like to hear that.
They've definitely got some improved sounds in this 38.
Sounds good.
Well, I'm enjoying the sound of the gear going up and the doors closing under there.
Jim, you're way out in front.
Where?
What happened on Thursday?
Hang on, I'm just going to land. So, I'll get back to you.
Really?
Meiringen, the next airport, that's the one of the two military airfields left where we have permanently stationed fighter jets like the F-18 that we have.
Is LSMM touch and go or landing?
It's touch and go.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Let's crash the desktop.
Oh no!
Caught it off David. Went way too late for this one.
Very infectious, this sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 knots we have, 280.
290 at 8 knots.
And we'll do the mid-flight pause, but the next airport after we go a little bit higher in the mountain, in the glacier.
So here, Meiringen, are a little bit further out the valley. The other direction that we go is actually where I'm right now, or where I grew up. So that's close to home.
How cool is that?
Nice area to grow, isn't it?
Cold.
If we are now flying straight to Meiringen, if you look a little bit to the right, there is Oxalp, and on Oxalp there is something called Fliegerschieß, meaning aircraft shooting. It's the only air show, as far as I know, the only air show in the world where they actually fire the guns of the airplanes.
But with fake munitions, or
With real, it is actually not really it used to. It is. They have a training for them, like a ground attack training with the internal guns, and it started out as they invited officers from other countries to watch that, and then more people came just to watch that. And nowadays it's more or less an air show, but officially it's still an air force training day, or actually 2 or 3 days in the autumn. And it's, if you ever go to Switzerland and if you want to see airplanes, go to Oxalp Fliegerschieß, because the airplanes, similar to the Mach Loop and the Star Wars Canyon, they actually fly through the valley below you.
Yeah, I've seen there's videos of it on YouTube of them shooting the targets on the hillsides. It's fantastic.
Yeah, impressive.
Yeah, from the shooting you don't see that much because they don't shoot tracers or anything. But still, you can hear it, you can see some impacts, and you see a lot of really nice airplanes flying through the valley. And again, for me as a AF geek, but also photo geek, it's amazing to be able to take pictures of airplanes from the top, like looking down at them.
Sounds a bit like Macklin.
Yeah, it's similar to that.
And when is the show during the year?
Let me check that real quick. When the next one is.
Is this a full stop or a touch and go?
Touch and go. The full stop will be the next one.
Jim, you got it wrong.
This year it's from the 18th of October till the 20th of October.
Actually, I'm not. I was going in the proper direction for the wind. You're all wrong.
It's coming from the east.
Ooh, Jim.
Told you.
So it's if you look right now, it's to the right. You see this big cliff, and above this big cliff, you see like two little hills. It's behind that. They fly through that little valley, coming out towards Meiringen, and they shoot in there.
I'm also on the right track for the next leg.
Yeah, you're way too far ahead of us.
So the next leg is one of the interesting one, especially if you have downloaded the add-on with all the cable cars and gondola. You can try to slalom between the pylons, some of the cable car. At the end we will climb up to a pass which is at, you need to be at 11,000 feet, so just make sure you're climbing off.
Turn your oxygen on, boys.
Another fun fact about all these cable cars and gondolas. There are lots of them. If you look to the left, there is a ski area with lots of them on this mountainside. But the one we are flying through the valley, they're actually not open to the public. They all belong to the power, to the electricity power company, and they're all, because we have a lot of water power plants up here. And they're all, so they can reach them in winter to service them and to maintenance on them. So they're all private, owned by this company.
Yep.
Trees.
Or little yellow puddles.
I was talking to somebody the other day wondering what the next big advance is going to be beyond what this thing is doing now.
And the answer was?
Well, we were just, trying to figure out what big advance they can make now. It's going to be small increments, isn't it now?
Well, no CTD would be a great improvement.
Well, this is the thing. That's what we were kind of talking about the lack of traffic and just the chaotic nature of the real world.
Traffic jams.
Or birds in the trees when you get near them, things like that.
I've had that sometimes.
Yeah, but
and birds flying around.
yeah, but it's nowhere near as many as, it should be the approach of every major airfield. We're going to get some around.
See,
No, they scare them off.
There's a silly, some areas and Jersey.
So here you have a cable car in the valley that goes up to the lake we have on top. And then at the lake we will go on the final lake will go on the right to start following the glacier.
Pat, I see Rob hasn't answered your question on that Facebook page.
Oh, has he not?
Not yet.
I haven't been on it. Well, I can't remember why I put that question, but I've barely been on it. So I've been too busy Mother's Day, even though I haven't got a mother.
Who the hell's that buzzing me?
It's not me yet.
It's me.
It's me.
Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus.
It's me.
Mr. Smee.
That happened at rugby today at the trophy thing at the end of the tournament. One of the kids, all the teams came together in front of all the coaches, and one of the coaches was singled out for helping to organise the tournament. And one of the kids shouted, "That's my dad!" and then several of the coaches started shouting, "That's my dad!"
So to the left of the big lake, there is a mountain called Siddelhorn, and I go up that one every year on skis. I hike up and then ski down. That's my end of the season thing to do.
Are you insane?
Nah, just
Oh, it's
Swiss.
in Switzerland.
Oh!
And by the way,
There's a cable car.
I don't use any cable cars for that. We have to hike up.
How long does it take to go?
2 hours, 2.5. maybe. So we put skins on our skis so we can actually walk with the skis on.
Oh, Dave, look at these pylons. Red and white.
The pylons or ski lifts?
Well, they're ski lift pylons.
Beautiful.
Oh, the scenery's incredible.
Makes you come around the corner. Well, there's the gondola across the street.
Well, it is electric pylons, isn't it?
Now, you see some red and white. If you've got that download, there's some red and white ones.
I'm on the side here. I'm going right by them now.
You can't get much lower than me. I'm touching the
So as I said before, the pass we have to go over is at 11,000. So if you just follow the glacier, but make sure you have enough room or get close to the Y key when you people.
Like coming up right ahead. Or?
Just going to do it. Codex getting away with it.
Yeah, I did some tests with the DA40 and it was just at the limit of the aircraft.
I'm going to circle before I go over the top of the pass and watch everything else approach.
Yeah, because just after the pass it's the fun part of the flight. You just go down canyoning through the glacier and river down to the valley. So in fact at this point you have several glaciers merging together or being joined. So.
Name of the whole system of the glacier is Aletsch Gletscher.
Gletscher is glacier, right? In German?
Yes. And the area is called Aletsch.
Just use that very useful Y key to get up to 14,000 feet, and it's amazing looking down.
Yeah, I'm doing a little circuit in my Spitfire to try and get up.
If we would go straight ahead, we would come to the famous Jungfrau Joch, and on the backside of the famous Eiger Nordwand. Don't know if you hear about these.
Yeah, the Eiger is one of the famous mountains in Switzerland.
Yeah, North Face.
Exactly. And Jungfrau Joch is very, very popular with Asian tourists.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a train going through all the mountain through Eiger and then up to Jungfrau Joch, and I think it's the highest train station, at least of Europe. I'm not sure about the world, because South America they have super high train stations as well.
No, it's on the other side on it.
But you mean it's not just a tourist train, it's a standard train, right?
No, it's a tourist train. It's just to go up there. There is some communication equipment up there, and there is a observatory up there as well. But in general, it's for tourists, and it was built for tourists. The train about I think a couple like 100 years ago. I live nowadays more 130, 140 years ago.
I have to say that reminds me of a real world flight, which was one of my best ever a few years back, when I actually flew round the Eiger at 12,000 feet in Lake Robin. That was quite incredible. I flew into Thun, into near Lake Thun, near Interlaken, and then went round the Eiger.
Yeah, I'm living where I'm right now, literally between Thun and Interlaken on the right side of the lake.
Oh wow, it's what, near Spitz or something like
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Spitz on the hill. On the hilltop above Spitz.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful. We stayed in a house on the lakeside at Spitz while we were there.
Full stop landing up in Spia.
Yeah, it's the mid-flight pose. I should have taken an aircraft with skis just to ski down the glacier.
I've got clouds coming up the mountain.
I literally skied down a glacier today, during the day. Not with an aircraft though, just with skis.
Amazing.
What did I do today that was exciting? So many things.
I stood for half an hour in the queue to buy an expensive coffee next to a freezing cold rugby pitch.
Did they jack the price up special?
Oh yes.
Yeah, we've been out to lunch with the wife. Managed to get the whole family together. My son from the Navy, 10 o'clock, he messaged me, oh, I was hoping Mother would be awake so I can borrow some money off so I can get to see you.
Be Mother's Day then.
Well, I had to do it, didn't I? And then he phoned to say, I'm going to be late, the car's going into limp mode. And I fixed it 9 months ago. I said, we'll just try and get there and fix it later. So I fixed it later. Cleaned out the mass airflow sensor.
You have cable cars also in the descent if you want to try to go below. Small red cabins.
Sorry, Dave. I knew it. I had a tailwind, 14 knots. Monster's a full stop, isn't it?
Yes, full stop. Go to the pause here.
Turning around and coming in from the other end where the wind is blowing and all that.
It's amazing watching everybody come in from the end of the runway. There's this constant stream of green and red lights. Amazing. And there's a Spitfire going the other way.
Yeah, that's more. So I've got wind coming from that direction.
Better open your canopy, Pat.
It won't land. What, open the canopy if I've got wind?
Exactly. Quite amazing how the light on one side and then dark on the other. It's great.
even here you can see, I mean, it's basically 1 hour after the sun came out, but basically all this valley is still in the shadow.
Radio check?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Greg,
Hello.
back from your travels.
Safely back. Flying again.
Well done. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back. Very sorry I missed the jaunt over to Trenton.
Yeah, it was a good flight. Don't worry, we did talk about you all the way.
Bad things, I hope.
Of course. Well, there is nothing good to say.
Exactly.
Something wrong here, Dave. There's loads and loads of pylons and they're still standing.
They nearly tipped me over then, break.
Dave, I was thinking about you on our drive to where we were going. Along the highway, there were a bunch of pylons, as you call them. And we were obviously close to an airport, which I looked up afterward. And a few pylons, different colored in white, with lights on them. So I thought that would be a good target for it.
But don't hit them with lights on. It's when I'm treetop flying, catching them more than it's there.
I should give you the coordinates.
Someone asked before, what could they improve on the flight sim? Model matching would be an amazing thing. Totally agree.
Agree with you 100%.
Now, Greg, who's just joined us, I've got to see him and what he's flying, because I have it. But there are other people who fly in the same livery that I have, and I see in the same with the A320.
I was like Jonathan the other day flying a Hawk, and yet I was seeing him in a A320, and we both got the same Hawk. Yeah. Same texture, so there's no reason I shouldn't have saw really what he was really flying.
I think it's random.
Yeah, probably the internet.
Maybe he blocked him.
Yeah. Banned me. But were you on again yesterday when that arsehole came on, Patrick?
No, I wasn't.
I can only call him that. But, Jonathan had to ban him again. Or block him.
Do you know what? I saw the name. I thought, I'm sure that's the guy that's been banned or blocked.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear him. No, I literally came in for a couple of moments, didn't I? Remember?
Yeah, he started again, professing how much better FSX is. They're not sorry, it's playing.
Unfortunately, I don't understand what he goes to. And that's
Yeah, we're
to go and try to protest that thing, over the other thing.
yeah, he's promoting his own stuff again.
He had two streams going, didn't he?
Yeah, he started arguing.
It was interesting. I was thinking about it overnight because it's the first time it's ever happened. But the thing that worried me more was his use of language was very, very strange, and I only realised afterwards he was gaslighting everybody that he spoke to. So he would present, making you doubt what you had said, or turning things around so you were, by saying anything, you were agreeing with him. Which you kind of hear abusers use that technique, and I'd never seen it. I've read about it, but I'd never actually seen somebody do it, and it was quite an eye-opener.
I was quite, it kind of caught me after, like, I've been away, but I've been following the channel, and his comments after last week's event kind of caught me. I'm thinking, what? I thought he might have had an ulterior motive for those comments, and obviously it was right.
Yeah, you're right.
So, shall we take off for the second part?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this flight.
Yeah, it's the best one in a very long time.
Yeah, that's taking off from that Dubendorf, if that's how you pronounce it. We've got to fly that again, go east.
Do you have an airport code, guys?
They were currently at Munster.
Thank you.
So for the next leg, we're gonna go up the Rhone glacier. It's the glacier which gives, the small river you have here is called the Rotten, but it becomes afterward the main river, the Rhone, which goes to the Geneva Lake and then down in France to Lyon and then Marseille. So we have to climb quite quickly because the pass is also at 11,000. So just make sure you have enough room again, and then we will go down the valley, and we will then go to the Saint-Gothard Pass, which is one of the famous passes in Switzerland. It was one of the oldest passes between Italy and the center of the country. This is where we have many tunnels, you will see. So let's go.
Is it
350.
350.
What were we saying about model matching?
Maybe for twins. No? Or...
I believe everybody is playing. Oh, there's
We all swapped and you went to the loot build. Good trick.
I think it depends on the amount of resources you've got available in the machine.
So same as before, try to match as close as possible to position of the waypoint. First one is just to give an indication on the direction at the beginning of the Rhone Glacier, the Rhone Glacier. The second waypoint is really the where you need to pass, as it is one of the lowest altitude pass, and because just after you have there is a nice ridge before going to another lake.
Oh, there's an Airbus taking off.
Is that a P-38 any chance?
Yeah, it is a P-38, but it's fun. I also see it as an Airbus, but I have the P-38, so maybe I think I haven't done the update. Maybe it's the update.
I have the P-38. I saw you use a P-38.
RJ Ramjet.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm seeing here now.
Oh, that's weird.
It's comical.
It's just because we don't have the P-38.
I like it, but as I say, I've forgotten I've got it and I forgot to show it.
So I don't know if you have noticed, but there was another airport just below us, which is now deactivated, and this one is not in MSFS. I mean, the runway is there, but it's not referenced, or you can find it in little nav map.
I will admit, I am really enjoying this flight because I'm not running it. It's a bit like cooking your own meal, isn't it? So if anybody wants to go and plan flights and file them for the weeks ahead, please do.
I've got one, which I'll do this.
I've got 2 cooking, so pick them still.
Brilliant. I think it's really good as well when people have got local knowledge of the flight plans as well.
I mean, this is very interesting, by the way. A guided tour of Switzerland by
Excellent commentary, isn't it?
The little lake you see to the left, and the pass, that's the Grimsel Pass. That's also one of quite a famous pass. That was where we took the right before to the long big lake.
Oh yes.
Oh, another airport.
So you will also see a road on your right. I mean, the glacier is on the left, and then there is a road with some. You will see it on the right. This is also one of the famous road because it's one. I think it's the 4th highest one in Switzerland.
Is that it? I can see snaking up to the right.
Yeah.
About 1 in 1.
That's up to Furka Pass, that road. How do you say in English when the road does like this, like a snake? Is there a specific word?
The long and winding road?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
I just said long and winding roads, Beatles song.
Serpentines. At least in German said Serpentinen.
Yeah. What do you call it in England?
Windy road, twisty road, meandering road.
Switchback.
Switchbacks, yeah.
Switchback, yeah.
Hip in bend.
In French we say the equivalent of shoelace because it's the same shape as a shoelace.
So what is that word?
You mean in French?
Yes.
Lacet, lace. It's literally the same word.
Good description.
we're all going to sound so knowledgeable next time we're talking with friends or family and say, oh yes, in France they call that.
They call that a knoll.
Depends how you present the information.
There's a mountain ahead with black and white. It looks like a snow type. Incredible.
My problem with that is my wife is French.
It's certainly not in England because I can see cars going on. And if you have more than a quarter of an inch of snow in England, everything's stopped.
Here in the south of France, it's a bit subtle. During the week, if we have some snow, everything stops. People get stopped on the road, we cannot go to work. But the same people can drive on the snow in the weekend to go skiing.
Yeah, well, in England they try and drive on snow, they can't because they don't want to.
It's all down to your tyres.
Mostly down to technique.
And good tires.
Yeah, the tires help a
help,
lot.
but if you can't drive, you can't drive.
No, but even if you can drive well and you are on summer tires, you're still not will not have any success.
I disagree. I'm a Canadian. I know the difference. I have driven as a young kid where I could not afford new tires on slicks, basically, in the snow, and survived.
I was always quite good in the days when we had snow. I was always quite good at driving in snow. Other people would be just sitting there spinning. Exactly.
Years ago, we went to Finland to go and visit a factory where my dad's boat was being built, and we were sat in the hotel looking out across the town square where it was like -15 or something outside, and there were taxis just casually driving past on a junction, sliding around the bends, but they were doing it so nonchalantly and carefully, and, it was nothing unusual.
In Finland, a lot of people have studs on their tires in winter.
Yeah, they have to from till October till March, is it?
Yeah, the parking bays have all got electric plug-ins as well to stop the engine blocks freezing.
Compulsory, the studs.
Yeah, one of my brothers is living in Helsinki, and they still have 30 centimeters of snow in the garden. So. So at the end of this valley, we're on the right, and this is where we have. This is one of the most famous one because this is where we have the Saint-Gothard tunnel for the cars, which starts. So you can basically see it. It's when we turn. If you look down, you will see the start of the tunnel. So it's 17 kilometers. It's the second longest in Europe. And for the train, I didn't check. I believe it's a world record. There was initially a train tunnel to go under this mountain, but they built another one, which is 57 kilometers long, which starts even upper in the valley.
That's a long way.
I always felt a bit sad when they built the Channel Tunnel. They built those special machines to dig the tunnel, and when they'd finished their job, they just drove them into the wall and buried them.
Another fun fact.
They did the same thing here in Toronto, or are doing the same thing here in Toronto, where they're digging for subways, and they just put them in at the end. And the same thing for they put a huge pipe out into the lake for water intake, and the same thing, just bury it there.
It's too difficult to get it out.
Some accountant did cost-benefit analysis.
But if you're a worker on that digging machine, you're not filing as carefully as you could be, knowing it's never going to happen.
Kind of like digging its own grave, though, isn't it?
Well, it's like the Americans at the end of the Second World War. They buried hundreds and, well, through thousands of airplanes, didn't they?
Yeah, there's one just outside of the town I grew up. There's a farmer's field, but there was always stories, and I checked it out in later years, and it's absolutely true. There's hundreds of airplanes buried.
Yeah.
I told you about the defense of Switzerland with all the airports, the Redwi. So one thing they also did, it's not there anymore, they put explosives all the way into that car tunnel. So in case we got attacked, we could have cut it off. And they were in there until like 1996 or something like that, when they took it out.
Somebody told me they've got something similar in the Channel Tunnel.
What in case there's French revolt?
I'm saying nothing.
It's once a week, isn't it?
Come on, no, we're not having
Twice a week.
Yeah, no politics, come on.
No, I'm joking.
Why would the Americans or anyone else bury aircraft at the end of the Second World War? Why bury them?
Because it was cheaper to do that than it was to take them back.
Yeah, but couldn't they just have scrapped them?
Well, they did, in the ground.
Again, more expensive, it's work.
Yeah, it's easy to bury them. Easy to dig a big hole.
They build their own grave. They dig their own grave.
When I was working, I had to go to Tucson a lot, and just outside of Tucson was an Air Force base that had an airplane graveyard, and it was very impressive.
What's the famous one?
Sorry?
It's actually modeled pretty well in the sim.
Row upon row by decade or whatever these planes are.
Got the Pima Air Museum there as well. It's SR-71.
There's a story about the guy that Davis Monson got a contract to take the fuel out of the aircraft to drain all the excess fuel or any fuel that was left. He was a multi-millionaire as a result of the fuel he drained and sold on.
It wasn't the drugs that he found in the hole?
He probably sold it back to the US Air Force.
I heard a great story a few years ago that a lot of these movie buffs that have built replicas of the Back to the Future DeLorean, they're becoming extremely expensive to build because the big fan shapes on the back of that car are pieces of F-14, and there's only so many of them left in the junkyards.
I've heard that too, actually.
Yeah, so they're having to kind of use 3D printers and stuff to kind of fake those pieces now. They can't get the real ones anymore. Or fabricate their own.
Cable car!
So if you have changed the time, just make sure you're at 8:31 and you should see God normally from there. And just touch and go here in Ambray.
Great scenery here.
Spectacular. But it always has been, even in the early days of the sim.
Yeah, anywhere mountainous turns out to be fantastic.
Oh, the tunnel's cool.
So we are following now the Ticino River down to the main lakes.
Some of these cliffs are amazing.
Time for the wires.
So this is already Italian-speaking Switzerland, am I right?
Yeah.
We come out of the tunnel for a short bit right here on the right.
I've just seen that too. Or another place. I guess they're going to have places where the air can get in.
Oops, under the bridge.
A massive railway line next to the freeway.
Yes, because this is where the major train tunnel comes out. So here, basically, it's the main valley to get all the traffic from one main part of the traffic from Italy to the northern part of Switzerland and then Germany and France.
Lots of traffic there too.
How come someone hasn't figured out a train add-on yet for the sim with a real live train?
We were talking about that earlier on. That Galaxy has got a train going back and forth. I've seen it.
Somebody say you can get shipping that's live.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very good.
It's a huge one, but it's nice. It takes some gigabyte to get all the ships, but it's pretty nice. And you can see the ships also in the little nav map.
It's not accurate.
It's not real rail traffic, but the air channel shuttle.
Now those ships, I've tried finding out. You can just Google where is a ship such and such, and they're usually quite inaccurate. So you might see it on little nav map. You then Google where that ship is. I saw some in the Mediterranean. And then I Googled where the ship was. It was in the China Sea.
I think they're only using the basically standard routes. After, I don't know if they put the ships exactly where they are.
I think the captain.
Speaking of cruise ships, it was interesting to see that the MSC cruise ship came in the harbor just when the F1 race was starting.
That's right, yeah. Well, they're a big sponsor of the race as well.
Yeah.
Ferrari must be kicking themselves this weekend. They have the points just waiting there.
But what could they have done, you think?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that they were beaten by a better driver.
It was an awesome race, I think.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Well, the new rules seem to have, and the new configuration of the limited aircraft of the cars seems to make things more equal.
No, it's very good.
Yeah, if the first two races are any indication of the season to come, it's going to be great season.
It's good to see Ferrari doing well, you know.
Yeah, as somebody said, everybody wants Ferrari.
As long as they beat Hamilton. I don't like him at all.
Has there ever
Yeah, he's
been...
put into an awkward position. Like when he's after that. He says told me today he was a Hamilton fan. You know, it's very helpful. Thankful for him looking after his household.
Has there ever been a less popular British motor racing driver amongst the British?
No. And normally we're quite good. We idolise somebody who's doing really well, don't we? But not him. It's because he uses the race car, and that's enough on that subject.
Yeah, he's just too woke.
Oh, he has a massive, massive following. Lots of people actually think he's God.
And he doesn't pay any tax, like a lot of those wealthy sports people.
That's the next thing I was going to come to.
And that's become a real issue in the UK, especially with economy the last few years.
Is that because he's a lord?
No, just because he moved all of his affairs to Monaco.
Oh, okay.
So he lives in a tax haven where he doesn't pay UK tax. So in that case, he should be Monaco. What do they call them?
Monegasque.
Yes, Monegasque. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to live there and not pay UK tax, then you're not a UK citizen.
So does he pay Monaco tax? Like that's the principality. It's beautiful. How does this work?
It's a tax haven. That's why it survives, because there's an awful lot of rich people who are prepared to spend their money there and not pay tax in the UK. Most racing drivers live in Monaco there, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah, I think a lot of the second generation drivers. Like Leclerc.
Yeah, and he swans around in a private jet that, oh, I don't own it, I lease it. Oh, you lease it off a company that belongs to you.
I'm not sure they live in Monaco because of the taxes. I think it's mainly to train and to practice the circuit every year. I'm sure it's only for sports.
That's what it's for. It's one a year. That race once a year with much practice.
When you have traffic jam, you can really look at the curve.
I've been round it. I've done it twice on purpose. And I don't think I've got above 20 miles an hour on it.
You go
I didn't do the tour bus and I know we didn't go.
Sorry, two together there, I think.
Yeah, say again.
But just saying, I did it in a tour bus and I know we didn't go.
I did it in my little sports car, my Austin Healey Sprite.
Now I understand why it's Pickles.
Yes.
So after the part in the mountain, we will now reach the city of Locarno. There is the big castle. When you go slightly on the right, you cannot miss it. And after we'll start the last part of the flight around the southern lakes, land in Italy.
Quite a funny thing about, I drove my Austin Healey Sprite from Cheltenham in Gloucestershire to the south of France, and we've been going about a mile and the passenger window ceased to function, wouldn't come up, and my girlfriend was most pissed off about that. And, we drove through Lyon in a massive thunderstorm with this window open. Anyway, we got to where we were staying in South France, and my brother said, "Oh, let's have a look at your window." 3 seconds it took him to get it up. No, I wasn't popular.
With your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Is she now your wife?
No.
Oh dear, that did trick them.
She now lives in Australia where it never rains.
Couldn't be further away from you then.
Yeah, she couldn't get further away than that. But the whole point of that trip was I was working in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what the rules are now for tax. If you spend more than 64 days of the year in the UK, you have to pay UK tax. So I had to try and prove that I was out of the country. And getting the French to stamp my passport, they didn't want to do it. I said, no, I need a stamp to prove that I've been in France. No, this doesn't matter, we don't want to. Eventually they did.
And there's you criticising Hamilton.
I know.
Just thinking that.
As well, then.
I've still got a bank account in Jersey.
He says he's not rich. Come on.
It's got 16 pence in it, right?
Little sports car going off to
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm flying club class 3-4 times a year as well. Well, used to.
But that was a perfect job, wasn't it?
Yes. Don't tell him, Lee.
It was a perk of the job.
Did you hear Ryan's story about getting to sit in the cockpit of the A320?
I did. Yeah.
That's fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was absolutely awesome.
It's also highly illegal.
Well, he had to get them and go and meet them.
Yeah. I don't know how he got clearance to do that.
He had to go and meet them to go and talk to them so they could
Yeah. He flew as crew.
Yeah, so the pilot essentially vouched for him with his superiors.
I heard another story this week about a bunch of a flight from Mugsland Airlines coming into land, and pilots coming in, and he crashes the landing, goes through the runway, through the lights, crashes. They finally stop and everything's okay. He says, "My goodness, that's the shortest runway I've ever seen." And his co-pilot says, "Yeah, but wide though."
What nationality were they?
Can't say that.
Sorry.
Green side up. That great big triangular building. The house on top.
Where?
Just flew past it.
Where are you?
I'm right at the back.
Look at the reflections of the mountains in the lake.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
And the clouds.
Yeah.
So the big city at the start on the right of the lake is Locarno, which is one of the big city in that part. And we have Lugano, which is a little bigger just after.
Oh, I've been Vikings, Jonathan. I went to Series 5.2. Here.
Sorry, I did. I forgot to press the button. Yeah, I've still only seen the first 4 episodes.
Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. It's a bit rude.
Oh,
Everybody says, what was the name of that show again?
Can you
Is
send
it
that
like-
over by WhatsApp?
the Roman Empire. Which is meant to be historical. Well, that's good.
Actually, there's quite a lot of historical facts in this series. It's like one of the main characters, his brother, is called Rollo, and he does become the leader in France of what becomes Normandy. Historical.
So they're trying to tie it into real history.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that makes up for all the sex then, doesn't it?
King Rollo.
Right, that's just true to life.
King Rollo's a kids program.
I love Rolos, they're really nice.
Did you give me your last one?
2 at a time.
No.
I've had a packet of Rolos for years and years. But they still sell them.
Yeah, I think you can still get them.
Yes, they do.
Range these.
They'll be a quarter of the size of a pack of them when we were kids.
This conversation with my other half the other day. Because I was in the garage buying her something because she had a bit of a crappy day. And I bought her a packet of giant Monster Munch, which I'd never seen before. And she said, "Oh, this is how big they were when I was about 8 years old." I said, "The trouble is, you were only 2/3 the size then."
Is that, yeah, but wagon wheels, they're about half the size they were.
Yeah, but to a 5-year-old, they are gigantic.
It's just that you got bigger since you ate them as a kid.
No, I've got pictures of what they really look like and what they are now.
A lot of things have got smaller. It's like when when Cadbury's was acquired by, is it Kraft Foods in America? They downsized a lot of the chocolate bars, like the cream eggs and things, went down to about 4/5 of their original size.
And
The Kit Kats.
Yeah, everything got a little bit smaller.
And they changed the recipe, didn't they?
Yeah, they changed. Yeah,
The one I remember the most was the Curly Wurlies. They used to be about a foot long. They're about 2 inches now.
That's agely.
There is just no answer to that.
we're just lining the jokes up now.
My wife complains about the same thing.
Bring back Spangles, I say.
I can't remember those.
Oh, they were nice. Bring back Woolies.
Always picking those.
Spangles were quite nice, weren't they? Hard. They did last.
Well, they last for ages. Proper
As long as you didn't chew them.
So here's a question for anyone American on the channel. We had a chain of shops over here for, I guess, 60, 70 years called Woolworth, and it was F.W. Woolworth. And I think he was American. So is there a chain still existent in America or Canada called Woolworth?
Yeah, the one in my town closed.
It was one of the great department stores on Main Street.
Same here.
I think bought out by Zellers.
It was bought out by Zellers?
I think they were, yeah.
They went broke. The UK,
Yeah,
in the UK they went broke about 15 years ago.
I remember it was a great place to go shop, and we had the school, go to the canteens, and eat, shop.
Yeah, it was a cool store.
My Sims crashed, so I won't restart it.
Oh, we don't like to hear that, Patrick.
What's the one like? It's not on.
still got a way to go, Pat. Come on.
No, it's not. By the time I get it started.
And we have one stop in Lugano, and then it's the final leg to Como. But we still have a few minutes to get to Lugano, so how long it takes.
It takes a long time for me to start. It's late already, it's 20 to 10. So I'm going to bow out. I'll keep listening.
All right, Patrick. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye for now.
And me.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you next week. So here we are very close to the limit between Switzerland and Italy. Lugano is the main city here. Pretty famous. Could make some effort to accept to live here. So the airport is on one side of the lake, and the real city is just after. When you come on the right, you will just be above. It's having the access on the other side of the same lake.
Very enjoyable flight. Thank you.
I think my graphics card is getting a bit overwhelmed by all this scenery. It's running pretty hot out.
That's because here you have photogrammetry on the main city when they did the Switzerland update. There is a lot of data.
Where are you going, Jim? Landed.
So the last leg we have a kind of junction in the middle of the mountain to reach the Como lake. So we will end by going to Como city in Italy, and there is a small airfield just after where we will land. It's not so easy to spot, but we have better lighting, so it should not be that difficult. And we are very close to Milano, in fact, so that's why the area, we have a lot of people coming from Milano also.
Lugano.
No, I'm way past there. I'm at waypoint 20.
Oh, all right.
I've got a horizontal black line passing through the midpoint of the horizon, right across my view. Does anyone else have that?
It's the horizon, it's the rendering both in the simulator.
Yeah, I have it. So yeah.
I've had it also.
Yeah, it's more visible. I have a full white lighting now. It gets visible.
I've noticed it tends to be more visible when there's a haze out there.
Yep.
Reflection in the sea is really great. Did a good job.
Follow the water bank towards.
Did anybody else have crash desktops out in the update?
Yep.
Yeah, I had several in one day.
I've had 2 today.
Fingers crossed.
I haven't had either, so yeah. Fingers crossed on both hands.
I haven't had one today, but that's going to tempt fate.
The day before yesterday, I couldn't get on the sim at all. Continual press to desktop.
Well, my GPU is consistently running at about 90%, or even a bit more sometimes, so I guess that's probably what's doing it.
Are you on the DirectX 11 shaders or DirectX 12?
Well, must be 11 I would have thought, so I haven't updated that.
Yeah, I'm still on 11. I did try 12 when they first introduced it, and it just wouldn't even launch.
What a great flight, man. You're brilliant. Well done, mate.
I was just going to say exactly the same thing.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Excellent combination.
I think 5 minutes ago was total snow everywhere. Now we're,
It didn't seem yet to be.
yeah, looks as if we could get out and have a barbecue.
That just made me hungry for barbecue.
You can have a barbecue if you don't land very well.
Well, we're going to have a pizza, can't we? Where are we?
Pizza and a Peroni.
A bottle of Corona. Or San Miguel. Or Spain.
Peroni.
It's funny, I've got a friend from Italy, and we were talking at work about pizzas one day, and they just turned around shaking their head and said, yeah, what you call pizza, that's not a pizza.
I think the nearest I've had to what you would call a real one is in the Farmer, in a pizza restaurant.
Yeah, they tend to be a lot thinner, and the ingredients are a lot more simple, but just high quality ingredients.
Yeah, it was really cheesy and just a few lots of tomatoes.
It's the same with any high quality food, it just tends to be less ingredients, but better quality.
Yeah, it was paper thin as well.
One of the guy making pizza over here near my village, he's been 3 times world champion Pizzaiolo for classic pizza. And, yeah, he has opened a school for Pizzaiolo.
That's fantastic. I've been looking at those. They're quite
And really, as you said, it's really the ingredient just to do for the flour, for just to make the everything. And yeah, they just use simple things, but yeah, top quality.
That restaurant going on about had a proper pizza oven, a big brick thingy. That's all I could describe it as. The PI is like brick.
Fair warning, everybody, it's a very short runway.
Yeah, try to find in this area something quite big, but because you have Milano just nearby. The last one is, an interesting one. Plus you have a lot of trees all around.
I'm going to overfly. Have a look. Which runway? 21 or 03?
03 I'm going in on. According to the wind.
I came in yet.
It's only 3 knots. It's only 1 knot. Worry about it.
Daisy. Landing, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Plug, so great flight anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night all, see you all again soon. Bye.
See you soon, bye.
Good night everyone.
Well done, Lee.
I'm down.
Yeah, but you're not in one piece.
Might need a new propeller. It'll buff out.
Yeah, it'll take cut out. What about?
Yeah, right.
Might have to get a shovel to dig some bits out of the wrong way.
Or like a bulldozer.
Comes the closest for the flight.
Going round.
It is a go around. It's a stall, in fact. Whoop.
Oh dear! Oh dear, Manuel!
That was awesome.
I told everybody it was a short runway.
And I have no excuse, I practiced it a
Nice
little bit.
landing, Friday. Nice landing.
Thank you.
I would admit I did side slipping most of the way in with the Kodiak to keep the speed down.
Yeah, that was my problem, too fast.
Just looking good for Mark C.
Yeah, way to go, Mark. Good landing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought if I had just checked my... Yeah, I thought I was on reverse, I was not. Explain a few things. It's like in Sabah the other night.
But thanks ever so much for that, Emmanuel. That was a fantastic flight. Very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to say good night to everyone. Manuel, thanks very much, mate. That was brilliant. See you again next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, see you soon. Yeah, I'm off as well. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for the flight.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Anyone else to come in yet?
Oh, I'm running really late, but don't wait on me.
Yeah, don't worry for
I think you lose the novels.
We still have 2, 3, 4 aircraft, I think.
Got to stay and watch them.
What did everybody come in on 03?
Yeah, mostly. I think somebody came in the other way, but only one. It's one part next to me.
Yeah,
Red
03,
white,
yes.
Red, white, Kodiak. Well done, Rob. There's only one button. And Dinky goes down.
Very nice flight, Mr. O. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right on.
You working tomorrow, Mark?
No, a little golf in the morning.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. See you then.
See you then. Thanks.
So we'll just wait for the Airbus 310 to whatever it is to land. The famous B-38. Yeah, I can see 4 name flags in the sky so far.
It sure is beautiful out here.
And that was a beautiful trip.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean the mix between the lakes and the mountain, it's really a nice place.
Oh, Jack is going backwards.
So I have to look for something in Spain now that they have released the update. I need to check what they have done.
Oh, he's coming in tight. Oh, nice landing, oh, Jack. Very tight turn into it. Here comes Lyndon.
No pressure.
Coming in tight as well.
And I see it's a caravan. The caravan will be the next one with the new livery for. Oh, nice bump.
Bit of a bounce there. Fantastic sight, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
This looks nice.
Yeah, better land than mine.
Yeah, lovely. Self-drive.
Yeah, really nice.
Oh, very quick stop as well.
Stop.